Well, they finally realized that front group was getting smaller and smaller. They needed to get in line and do something. Here you see now they're getting lined up.
And there can be as much as a second to a second and a half difference in lap speeds of the cars lined up and these guys back in here racing each other.
There you see Bobby Hamilton Jr. in the 26 car, Jeff Green. These guys had lost this draft. They started racing side by side. Now they're catching up. We're looking at the back of Bobby Hamilton Jr.'s car. This is a old Monte Carlo. This is not the current Monte Carlo. These guys did a test. The old 99 Monte Carlo versus the new one. This one was a little bit quicker. They elected to bring it here since it was faster.
Hamilton, you see him drop in behind the 10 car. And there's the gap from these 11 cars to 12 and on back. It's now up to 2.5 seconds.
Now this group's getting back lined up, so if this other group don't stay lined up, which they're doing a pretty good job right now, but that's going to be a tough pack to catch if they stay single file.
Jay Sauter leads that second pack from 12th place. Jason Keller, Lyndon Amick with him, Kevin Grubb, Matt Kenseth, Mark Green, Elton Sawyer, David Green, and Tim Sauter. Larry Foyt on the inside there. David Starr going past in the 16.
Car, Brad Baker, he picked up a new paint job this week.
Look at the hood on David Starr's car there. And it looked like the top of that hood is just wobbling a little bit there on the left side.
Yeah, if you see it right there, there's a hinge right there. It looks like it's broke loose. That's normally a welded hinge on the hood and on the fender that has a bolt through it. Either the bolt's come out. Looks like possibly the bolt has come out of it.
I believe it has. He's going to have to come in and put him a bungee cord on that baby.
And that'll really affect the aerodynamics of the car. You know, that causes turbulence. And that's something you just don't want here. You don't want turbulence.
Well, turbulence is underneath the hood here in traffic. It buffs the car around, bucks the car up in the air. It's quite violent at times, and that's why that hood has come loose.
18 Jeff Purvis had a look on the inside of Kevin Harvick there for 6th place, but they stay single file in that front pack. And now looks like Hamilton has lost touch with that group, and maybe also Mike McLaughlin. 14 laps complete at Talladega in the Subway 300.
Welcome back to the Subway 300 as we come to you from Talladega on Fox. Earlier, we showed you Happy Hour, the Winston Cup cars on FX, tuning up for tomorrow. And we got a great lineup. NASCAR this morning at 10 Eastern. Bill Engel will show you restrictor plate engine testing to prepare you for the Talladega 500 on Fox. The pre-race show at 12:30 Eastern. Tony Stewart will join us here at the Hollywood Hotel to get ready for the race in the NASCAR Victory Lane. Wraps everything up again on Fox Sports Net at 9 o'clock. Jeff Hammond, as we got a look here at the Busch race. You know, Jeff Green, who was the points leader last year, this was the race that after he came out of here and went to California, he was the points leader and never let go. He's 4th currently in points, and right now having some trouble in this race, running 9th, but blew an engine with about 5 minutes to go through test. So he had a new engine that was fired up for the first time when he started this race.
Yes, I talked to Harold Hawley just before the race. They had some concerns, but that engine is prepared by Roush Racing, and they were assured that the engine they had just lost was only about a 1 horsepower differential. So they felt very confident that they could start this race today, rely on what testing information they did have to be able to go into the race. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like he's running what they expected to do.
But he feels he's a little bit ahead of last year because he already has a victory with Darlington. He didn't win his first race until Richmond last year. Let's go back up to the booth.
Well, Bobby Hamilton Jr. has drifted back to lead the second pack. Joe Nemechek is our new race leader. But we're back here with Hamilton and Jason Keller, 11th and 12th place.
And as you look in your rear view mirror, you say, rah, where'd those guys come from? Because they were not even in sight 10 laps ago. And here they are. They're going to catch right back up to this lead crowd.
Well, the lead pack, you see them battling side by side, and that 2.5-second gap, that has really shrunk and brought the second pack right there.
And a couple of good cars fell back. The 10 car and the 26 of Bobby Hamilton Jr. They got shook out a little bit, but they were fast enough to help these guys get back up there.
We no longer have the first pack and the second pack. We have a big pack once again.
It's like who let the dogs out, because here they come.
Looks like 27 cars now in that lead draft. And oh, by the way, Order has come now to the second pack because they want back up in it.
And so much of this is stimulated from the spotters.
Right.
The spotters are going back and forth, say, look, guys, we need to get in line. That pack's getting away from us. The 16 car, David Starr, he was on pit road. We heard that he received the black flag, had to repair that hood. And we got another lead change working.
Kevin Harvick comes from third up toward first. Nemechek right there.
And the more these guys do this in the front, as you can see, it's just pulling that other crowd right into the mix. And that's the last thing you really want, particularly if you're at the tail end of this crowd here.
Well, they went and sniffed a draft off a lapped car, and Mike Skinner sniffed it all the way to the front. So Skinner, the new leader. Nemechek, oh, a bump there. Harvick and LaJoie got together.
That's kind of like what you do at Talladega. These cars will have wheel marks on them.
Look at these guys.
Boy.
Look at them. 3 wide coming off the quarter, turn 2, bumping and banging at 192 miles an hour.
And Harvick's drifting back. Todd Bodine got knocked out of that top 10, and Harvick as well.
There's Jason Keller. He's pulled himself into the fight.
Bobby Hamilton Jr. looking out the back of his car. He helped pull Jason Keller and this group back up there to the front.
Boy, Darrell, you don't have to lose much momentum to go way back, to lose a lot.
These cars got a 390 carburetor on them, and when you lift the throttle up a little bit, then it takes a little time to recover.
And that's 390 CFM versus the Winston Cup cars will run a 750 or an 830.
Randy LaJoie being shuffled back on the high side now.
These guys are racing about at the speeds they qualified, just a teeny bit slower, whereas whoa, I saw some smoke out of somebody there.
Was that Wimmer who dropped to the inside?
Boy, I don't know, but everybody did a good job of avoiding any trouble there.
That's Scott Wimmer. Big puff of smoke.
Let me tell you,
that
something like that could create a disaster. You really have to be calm and cool when you see something like that happening. You can't jerk these cars around like you do at Martinsville or short tracks. You got to be calm.
Hate to see that for Scott Wimmer. Had a great run at Nashville. These guys just getting better and better each week with this race team.
Yeah, he's a good little driver, and he's interesting to talk to. Comes from a good racing family.
Purvis drops back in line after a run at the high side. Here comes Spencer on the outside.
And he's got help from that 10 car, Jeff Green, up to the high side right here, side by side.
Now Green has come from 2.5 seconds off the lead draft. In 5 laps, he's fighting for the lead.
Well, you know, last week at Nashville on the start of the race, he complained about the engine, the transmission. A lot of things wasn't right about the car. Next thing we knew, he was leading the race, and it's kind of that same scenario again today.
Well, let's show you again what happened with Scott Wimmer.
Looking inside.
Here he is right down there in line, you know, kind of following on with everybody else. And all of a sudden, man, fortunately, no fluids.
Big trouble off turn 4. And one car, Harvick, goes spinning to the infield. Caution is out.
Lots of damage to the rear of that car.
Well, he was falling back, and I think the car, maybe the handle had gone away on the car, and he was just trying to ride it out to make a pit stop. But I know this wasn't what he had planned. That car is torn up.
Harvick had a 91-point lead coming into this race, and that will not be enough. So it's the first caution of the day in this Subway 300.
Talladega has a way of changing the point situation.
And it will today.
Quite honestly, that's for Talladega a one-car accident. We don't see that very often.
No, we don't. This is something we have not seen very much either, and that's Kevin Harvick's car tore up this bad.
From aerodynamics to recyclodynamics, I think, for much of that rear end.
They're going to have to go behind the wall, and NASCAR very critical here. They will give them one chance to fix this race car.
Let's see if we can see what happened here, Larry. He had drifted back. Oh, he's just down on the bottom there. I don't know if he got tapped or not.
Boy, he was lucky, though. He was shooting back up the racetrack.
Let's see if he comes into view here. Already gone.
He may have gotten a little help there. You see the roof flaps deploy, but he still hit that outside wall hard.
Everybody did a good job, really good job of avoiding that spinning car. That's so hard to do here. That's all attributed to the spotter and directing you as you go by.
And no way to tell if there was contact that sent Harvick into the spin.
And there's no question, working with Richard Childress Racing, these guys will have a frame machine in the garage, and they will have to bend that rear of that frame back up, get that sheet metal back on it, get him back out there, accumulate as many points as they can.
So far, his worst finish of the year, 12th at Las Vegas. We'll be right back.